Hi there. So in this video we're going to see how to use application controller in Angular. So the AngularJS application is controlled by controllers. So whenever you load any AngularJS application, the controller will load along with any necessary components, and the ng controller directive controls your application control. Okay, so basically controller is an object created by JavaScript object constructor. So we are not going to take a look at that in depth, so we'll just see one example. Let's say I start with one ng app for root, then ng dash controller, and here I named my controller, let's say fruity. Okay, then I'm closing my div. Okay, inside this let's add a simple option of choosing fruit name, and then here we use input type equals to text, and then ng dash model equals to fruit name. Okay, then on next line we are going to use you picked, and here I'm going to use fruit name. Okay, so basically what we are doing here is we are creating one ng app directory, keeping it empty, then controller with name fruity, and then pointing our ng model fruit name that will simply output any input that you add inside your text box. Okay, now when I'm using ng controller, I have to write a specific function to handle it. So let's write one script to handle our controller. So let's say I have created var app that will point to let's say my ng app directive with name my app, and I'm going to use angular dot module that is going to simply point to my app, and then put in square bracket, keep it empty. Okay, so this module gets created, and we are going to use app dot controller, and here I'm going to use fruity, and then let's say I'm going to use one function with scope. Okay, now the function scope once created, we have to make use of our scopes, such as let's say I use scope dot fruit name equals to, let's say I want to use apple. So this value will be predefined and used by fruity controller, and without having to type in text box we can put it in this text. Okay, and if we keep it as comments, then it will ask you to type that fruit name in text box. Okay, so let's try that, and you see this is empty for now. Let me add mango, and it should reflect you picked mango. But if we use scope.fruitName apple, then it should show your fruit name as apple. Okay, so let me correct this fruit name, and it should show you the output. Okay, so what if I just comment this part out, then it will ask me to type it, and you get the idea that your application controller will take the input from that text box. If you define it with the help of scope, then it will take that predefined value from your application controller. So basically your application controller with directive ng controller is going to decide the flow of data within your Angular application.